Unqualified Parental Advice from a teacher with 15 years of experience and 4 kids of my own. Let's just be honest, people. I have no idea what I'm talking about. And if you think following my advice is a good idea, you're probably just as crazy as the children and the parents we're going to talk about. It's not uncommon for kids to want to quit an activity. Might be a sports team, a musical instrument, or a club they've joined. I went through so many sports and activities growing up. I mean, that's kind of what it's all about, right? That's really like the goal, is to try it out. Sometimes though, kids just don't want to stick it out or wait till the end of this activity. Sometimes you just got to talk to them and figure out like what's really going on. You know, I came across this recently with my son. He decided after playing club soccer for a long time, like over a year, that he just wanted to quit. And, you know, it really made me think, like, what's really going on? It's hard. It's hard as parents to be sure whether it's best for them to stick it out till the end, stick it out, or if it's okay for them to be a quitter. At least that's kind of what was going on in my head, is if you allow your child to stop, are they a quitter? And that's never a good thing. I mean, that's certainly nothing you would ever want to teach your kids. As good parenting, you don't want to teach your kids that it's okay to quit something. But when it comes to making a decision, there isn't really one right answer. Instead, you should think about the lesson that you want them to learn. The best first step is to figure out why they want to quit. Are they frustrated with the coach? Do they feel like the coach yells? Do they feel like they don't get along with their team? Do they not really like the music instrument that they're into? Are they bored? Like, is it just not challenging enough for them? Is the club that they wanted to join just not exactly what they thought it was going to be? Or it was great for a while, but, it's kind of remained the same. There's so many various reasons why your child would want to quit something. And that's the very best first step, is to figure out why do they want to quit. Once you know the why, you can kind of problem solve together to see if maybe there's a simple solution that you can come up with to remedy it, to fix it, so that they can get it out till the end of the activity, whenever the end of the activity is. Sometimes that's all it takes, is a little bit of talking to them and say, hey, have you talked to your coach? Have you expressed to your coach that, you feel like you don't play enough? Or have you talked to, your band leader or the club leader and let them know that, can you try something else? Is there a different area that you can focus on in the club or the instrument or whatever the case is? Sometimes it could be just one simple solution. Unfortunately, it's not always like that. Before committing to a decision though, before committing to a decision to quit, you really need to evaluate what you want them to learn from this. If your child's very sensitive and quitting because, it's too hard, or they feel like they're not very good at it, you got to think about it as a parent. Are you allowing them to quit? Is it going to reinforce to them that quitting is okay, when it's too hard? When I don't feel like I'm good at something, is it okay for me to quit that? Personally, I don't think so. And I don't want to teach my child that. So you kind of have to play it out and see what's your child like. If your child's sensitive to that and feels like, I'm just not good at it, I need to quit. Well, we don't quit when we're not good at something. We just work on getting better at it. We don't quit when someone's being mean to us. We overcome that. We don't quit when we don't necessarily get along with other people in the team. That's what life is. You're not always going to get along with the people that you work with in a team or in a club or in a band or whatever the case is. So you kind of have to evaluate that. But maybe your child is reversed. Maybe your child's like super competitive and they're bored and they don't really like this instrument. It's too easy for them, or they don't like this sport because it's too easy for them. That'd be like maybe the simple solution is, can they try a different spot? Can they accelerate their practicing or whatever the case is? So, or maybe the team just doesn't push them hard enough. Maybe this would be a situation where maybe not quitting would be the right word for it, but maybe moving to another team would be the right decision. And I guess in essence, it is quitting. Really, you have to kind of figure out like, what's the lesson that you're trying to teach them here? Because ultimately, that's what it comes down to. Um, Commitment to a team is super important. Commitment to any kind of team, a club, an instrument, it's very important. And we don't want to teach our kids to overlook that. If they've made a commitment to a team and they quit, how is that affecting other people? Don't just think about yourself. You have to think about everybody else in this situation. Are you affecting the entire team by quitting? Is the band or the club or whatever, if you leaving, does that hurt everybody else? I mean, that's an important lesson to teach your child. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not affecting anything. But that is something to consider. But in teaching your kids that there's a commitment to be fulfilled, there has to be an end, if that makes sense. You can't tell your children that, I need you to finish until the end of the season, until the final rehearsal, whatever the case is. I need you to finish. Well, what's finish? Finish needs to be March, April, December, whatever the case is. They need to know that there's an end, because that's what you're teaching them. You're not teaching, ride it out till you die type of thing. Otherwise, they're going to look back and be like, well, why do I want to try soccer? Why do I want to try baseball? Why am I going to try the piano when I learn that I don't like it and I get such a hard time from my parents trying to quit or, trying to stop or trying to move on. So, it's a delicate balancing act. We want to teach them that we want them to try a bunch of things, but we also need them to understand that there's a commitment. That commitment, super important, is that there is an end to it, and that's kind of where I'm coming from with all this. So let's rewind. Back in the beginning of this episode, I mentioned that my son was wanting to quit club soccer. He grew up playing soccer. He played recreation soccer for forever and ever and ever and ever. And then he tried out for a club team and he did great and he made the team and he's competed. They went through all tournament, all season, yada, 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 yada. But it's not over yet. The season's over, but there's still a couple tournaments left, and he had a heart to heart with me, and I went through this mental list that I'm letting you know about. Why do you want to quit? Is there a reason? Is there a simple solution that we can resolve to make this better? In the end, I'm not going to bore you with the details, but in the end, I did let him quit with the understanding that he knows he's not quitting because he's tired of playing or whatever the case is. He had an exit. It was, Dad, I want to quit because, A, B, and C. But I also have my eye on the school team. The school team has tryouts coming up, and granted, school tryouts weren't until after his commitment to this club team. But he said, Dad, I've been playing soccer nonstop every weekday, almost every weekend. Sometimes we have doubles, triple tournaments. I'd like a break. I'd like a little break from soccer before I try out again. And the last thing I want is him to get burned out on soccer or any sport. So I did do that. And you know what? This is a great way to end the episode. Just the other day, as we were driving, I was driving him back to his mom's, and he was talking to me. He's like, and he was telling me, "Oh, Dad, this is what we were doing in PE and blah 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 blah." And as I'm listening to him tell this story, I'm like thinking, "Oh my gosh, he's like such an athlete, and he's so competitive as he's talking about these games he's playing. He's being completely polite about everybody else, but he's proud of himself because of his successes." And he mentioned how he went for, there was a target in this game that they were playing and he couldn't reach the target. And he's like, "Dad, next time though, I thought about it and I know what I'm going to do. I know how to get to that target next time. And I'm going to give him a little slip and I'm going to blah, 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 whatever the case was." And I was thinking to myself, isn't that what I really want? Do I really care that much that he's playing competitive soccer? Or do I just want my child to understand that, you need to live a healthy lifestyle and that competition in life is important and to be a good sport? And it sounds like everything that I'm trying to teach him, he wants. So what? So he wants to take a break from soccer. Does that mean he's quitting? Is he fulfilling his commitment completely? Not necessarily, but it kind of comes down to, quitting or continuing whatever they're doing is way less important than the lesson learned. So I want you to think about that. Next time your child talks to you about wanting to stop something, don't immediately jump into thinking, nope, we are not a family that quits. Our family does not quit. Whatever the case is. It's not about whether they quit or continue. It's a lesson. Are you teaching them a lesson? Because that's what we're here for, as good parents, teaching lessons so that they can be better adults. That's it, guys. Allowing your child to quit isn't really a big deal as long as you kind of figure out, is my child growing from this? Are they getting a lesson out of it? And that's what's most important. So that's it, guys. I hope you got what you came for. See ya!